Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Bigger Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. I'm excited about doing this one. We had one just a few minutes ago. I was talking about persistence, and that kind of gave me an idea to do another one. So I'm going to kind of do a couple fast ones here. But guys, the whole idea, and before we do this one again, subscribe, comment. I get so excited sometimes I don't get a chance to even talk about those things. But those things are important. Please like it, comment, subscribe, donate. I love you guys. You guys are wonderful. So the idea we're going to talk about in this one is we're going to talk about not persistence, but what happens, what do you do when you got troubles, right? How do you handle troubles in your life? And how does retention relate to that, all right? How do you handle trouble? When trouble comes is a good title, right? So let's delve into this. All right. So, and I was talking about this before. First of all, when you're on retention, and I think I've been at 528 days or something like that, 52 days, 53 days, maybe it's monk mode. And what that is that's allowed me to not get as upset and kind of calm down more when it comes to fear and anxiety. And because of that, as you're eliminating fear and anxiety, all of a sudden now you can think more clearly. And you can handle some of these problems a little bit easier when you're not so stressed out. And that is a key, guys. The key is trying to kind of get to that point where you can try to handle things, because things are going to happen. This is life. We talked about this in the last video. Life is going to happen, which means you're going to have a valley, peaks and valleys, ups and downs in all areas of your life, financial, other kinds of things. Things are going to happen. I've seen this through 60 years of living, and you're going to have those type of things that are positive, and things that are going to happen that are not going to be so positive. And the key thing is to handle them the same. I think it's Kipling or something. One of the poets and writers said something like, I think it was one of his poems, if you can handle everything the same way. I think it's a famous poem that he had. You will be a man, my son, if you can handle success and failure and treat those two entities the same. Then you will be a man, my son. And that's the whole key, my friends. To handle failure, success, whatever you want to call these things, the same way. Right? Those things will happen to you. But the key, guys, is to handle trouble as just another person in your life. And what happens then is you're going to go then and say, okay, if trouble is happening to me, all right, this is either my end, which obviously you don't want to think about that way, or you're going to say, okay, there's opportunity here. What is the opportunity? If you lose your job, and a lot of people are quitting their jobs right now for some good reasons, but they're quitting their jobs, right? But the thing is this an opportunity? Yes, it is an opportunity. Now, am I kind of crazy person here? No. What I'm saying, guys, is that this is something that's interesting, because the way we look at things makes all the difference in the world. You can look at a glass at half full, half empty if the line is in the middle of the glass. That means it's how you look at this thing that makes all the difference in the world. And yes, you can kind of be sad sack and upset. I've lost my job, or I've lost my girlfriend, or I've lost this and lost that. But you can also go ahead and say, look it, these things happen. I can't change those things. I can't go ahead and change the troubles I'm going through, but I can move ahead and take the next step. And that's a key thing, guys. Same thing with persistence we talked about. Taking the next step. Keep walking forward. Don't change and all of a sudden start getting upset, worrying, and losing your edge. Things will happen good. Things will happen bad. Okay? I remember one time in a chemistry class that I had, we had this teacher walk in. We're all sitting there, and we had this bottle of milk sitting there. And it was like one of those old glass jars you have that you had milk in delivered many, many years ago. And so I think it was right by the sink. And he comes in and he breaks the milk. What a waste of milk there, right? He breaks the milk, and he had us all look at the milk as it was going down the drain. And he used, and it's kind of hokey here, but he used the famous quote, right? Don't cry over spilled milk. Where's my thing here? And I remember that, and I've seen this over and over again, and it makes perfect sense, right? You can't do anything about that milk going down the drain. It's done. It's done. Yes, did you make mistakes in the past? Yes, we all have. I made a ton of mistakes over the years. Whether it's common releasing, financial issues, all kinds of stuff. Jobs. I made a lot of mistakes. But the worst thing you can do is keep making that mistake. And keep going back and reliving that mistake over and over and over again. And this is what I think retention helps you with. You're focusing on your goals. You're not focusing on women, wasting your time. You're focusing on moving ahead, and you're focusing on trying to get better and better and better. And the key, guys, is to get better and better is to move forward. Do not move backwards, and do not stay still. You're living in the present moment. You're not living in the past. I always say this to me when I get up, that God gives me and blessed me for living in the present moment. All right? You have goals, but you're living in the present moment. That means you're not living, the problems you're having will come and go. The Bible always says, this too shall pass. So that doesn't mean that you're going to stay with the problem you have. The problem's going to go. But the key is going to be, what do you do next? What type of thing is your next plan? What is your next goal? What are you trying to accomplish next? These things you're going to keep going and going and going. And that's the whole key to it. And a lot of people, and I know this in the people in the age group of 60s, lots of people give up at some point. And that will never happen. And I feel so much energy through all the things that I'm doing with all this retention now that I will never feel like giving up. Never. As long as I stay on my path, stay on my journey, you're never going to give up no matter what hits you, right? You may not be where you were at financially, and I'm not. I want to get to a different spot. You keep trying, right? I'm not where I want physically. I'm still looking for my six-pack of abs. I'm getting closer. Not there yet. A little closer. I'll probably show you guys at some point. But I'm not there yet. But I'm working out. And I'm an old guy, but I'm still working out. You can tell today, I'm really excited today, guys. I'm really excited today. So, but the thing is that, on a serious note, yes, I'm getting closer to some of these goals. But the thing is that I've had setbacks, as we all have, right? Heck, I almost committed suicide when I was 17 years old, 18 years old. Coming from divorced parents, thought it was all my fault, right? Okay? So those things happen. We all live in those type of situations. I've had to see counseling, other things in the years past, right? But I will tell you one thing. This retention, this stuff that you're doing, guys, is tremendous. I have not had this kind of experience and feel this way in my life since I was 10, 11, 12 years old. Somehow I went down the wrong path and got into all this other kind of stuff. And like a lot of us, living in this blue matrix that we're in, right? And you got to get out of that blue matrix, because life is not the way it appears to be. And most people, guys, are not the way they appear to be, right? And this is why you got to be careful of the energy you have. Don't waste your energy on people. I think I've talked about this before. People, they can put a lot of different faces on, males and females. Nowadays, you got people putting makeup on all over the place, males and females, right? And when you look at this thing, you're talking about people who look nowhere near the way they really are. And that's the key, guys. You have to be the way you are, because that's going to make you successful. And I think that's the whole thing that you're going to talk about here when we talk about troubles. We need to overcome troubles, but the way you overcome troubles is not to focus on the trouble. Focus on the next success. This is Napoleon Hill said, right? Every failure is a seed, which means you put it in the ground, seed, for the next success. And I said this before, we talked about this. A lot of people, great inventors, great people in our world, they have had their biggest success minutes or seconds or days right after their biggest failure, because they kept going. And this is the key, guys. Never give up. Always have that energy, enthusiasm. And you don't help yourself a lot if you're releasing all the time. You don't help yourself. You have got to realize that the power to overcome all of these things, no matter how long it takes, is in you. And as you get stronger, you become stronger as a person. And this is such a powerful thing. And I don't know, a combination of fasting maybe today is that I just feel very powerful. Very powerful. And I think as you do this more and more, you realize the energy you have inside yourself and what you can accomplish, anything you want to accomplish. Will it be obstacles? Will it be troubles? Of course. Of course. But don't look at those that way. Look at them in the same way. This is what Kipling said. Do not look at failure and success, good and bad, wins and losses. It's all part of life. It's all to teach you something that you can use to be better. And the whole key then is to find out, what is it that this is teaching me? Have I been a good learner over these years? No. Just things that I've done wrong several times. But the key, guys, is one thing I've never lost. And I had this in grammar school, I had this in high school, and that's heart. What we mean by heart is that you're going to keep on going on. You keep on going on. And you never lose that. Now my power is just tremendous now. Before I started this streak, even though I had success, I didn't get sick, I did not have energy that I should have had. Now the energy is unbelievable. It is unbelievable. And I think a combination of this fasting and this other thing has really helped me a great deal as well. So I really recommend it, guys. The 1% Club, you guys know what I'm talking about. Those who are just viewing me for the first time, though I may sound like a crazy guy here talking, this power is unbelievable, guys. It is unbelievable power. And don't underestimate the ability to take a trouble situation, a failure, into a positive. Remember, as Napoleon Hill said again, every failure you have, it's only the seed of the next success. This is what Edison said as well. We talked about that invention of the light, right? He failed thousands of times. Can you imagine failing 1,000 times? 10,000 times. It didn't matter. He was going to keep doing it because he was on a mission and he was on a goal, and he continued to try to do that. And that's the thing to do. Continue to try to do your goals and your purpose. Don't worry about the women or men. If you're a woman, don't worry about the men. Don't worry about, if you're a man, don't worry about the women. Don't even think about that stuff. Because that's not what identifies you, my friends. I'm talking about the male specifically here. That is not what's identifying you. You're not even identified because of chasing all these women around. It is a trap that you're in. Find one person. Have your enjoyment with that one person. But remember, the energy you have is what's going to help you overcome problems, other things that you have in your life. All right, guys, enough ranting on this one. Until next time, battle on.